bring that ass back like a boom, 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 boom.
Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of the vlog. On today's episode, we're installing the Gktech bolt-on lock kit for the V35. So this is going to be the first mod I'm doing to the car. Car comes standard with coilovers and a heavy-duty clutch and these wheels. Apart from that, pretty well stock. Looking to get some more angle out of it. So yeah, Gktech's kit was around about $300 with the bolt-on rack spacers, so pretty cheap, and lots of people have had some good feedback about it, so we're going to chuck it in. I'll show you guys how to do it, and yeah, obviously I haven't done it before, so I'm going to be learning as well, but I'll show you what to do and what not to do. Here's the kit we've got here. So that's the bolt-on part, and then you got your tie rod end, and then got a couple of different sizes of these bits, just to see what's going to fit my setup. Obviously it's pretty standard, so that one should be fine. I think the other one's a bit longer. Not too sure. Oh no. Oh yeah, a little bit longer. Yep. So I assume that's if you got longer control arms or whatnot. And we also got the bolt-on spacer with a slip-on spacer as well. So yeah, we'll get into it and yeah, show you how it goes. Alright, so just going to show you how much lock these bad boys have from stock. Car is up in the air, so lock while the car is actually loaded up on the ground is different to in the air, but at least you get a bit of a rough idea of before and after. So this is the leading wheel, as you can see from there, and then I'll show you from the front as well. There, and then the trailing wheel, which is here, and then from the top. So not all that bad, but not all that good either. So let's see what this kit does for us. Alright, so it looks like this bad boy sits in there something like that. Down in under there. Obviously going to sit a lot better once I remove some of this stock stuff, so obviously have to remove the stock tie rod end. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to undo this nut first, otherwise that might be hard to undo. Going to remove this split pin, take that off, knock the standard tie rod end down, and take the original lock stop off, and then we can go ahead and chuck this bad boy in and see how it goes. Oh wow, so that's that side basically in. All I've got to do to this side is I'm going to put Loctite on the bottom bolt there, just because the spacer spaces it out, so you can't put the split pin back in there. So just to Loctite it, just so it doesn't come loose. And then I just got to do the bolt-on spacer as well. So yeah, it probably literally took me, I'd say, less than 5 minutes to do this side, so yeah, pretty simple. Yeah, already, hard to do with one hand, but already you can see there's a considerable amount more lock. So I'm going to remove this and then maybe shave it down a little bit. We'll see how that works. I like how they've got that sort of setup. I assume there's a thread in there, so you could almost make an adjustable one, which would be pretty cool. So yeah, anyway, I'm going to get to head on the other side. I'm not going to film that one because it's exactly the same as this one, but I'll show you how to chuck the rack spacers in after this. One thing you probably don't want to forget, which I just realised before, is these come sort of half pre-assembled. So the actual tie end is in the lock kit, or the little knuckle they have as such. This is already in there, but it is not tight, so you definitely want to double check that one. Make sure you tighten that one up. I put a little bit of Loctite on it as well, just to make sure that's not going to fall out. So yeah, just a note to definitely double check that one. Now we're going to actually install the rack spacers.
I fucked up so bad outside the bar, heading out as far away I can. Heart is pounding, got so damn out of hand. Doing 90 through the city night. Nothing's ever gonna be alright. Life will never be what it was. Hands are shaking, 'cause now my future is crashing down on me. They try to kill me when I fought back. I cracked the stars with a baseball bat. But justice will never make this right. I need to run and stay out of sight. And no choice, it was me or them. Now for a lifetime I'm condemned. I have to forget my old set way of life. I'll go to prison or die by the night.
Alright, so we got it all bolted up now. Rack spacer is in, as you can see. Turns out it already had slip-in rack spacers, so I only had to do the one side. So I've done the passenger side with the bolt on, and I've just left the other side with the slip-on on there. Just made sure it was tight. Made sure I put plenty of Loctite on there, because you don't want those coming out. And then I've installed it to the lock kit. So we got the standard length, what would you call that? Probably the tie rod length adjuster type majiggy. So that's just the standard length one. There is a longer one if you have a longer control arm, but I don't need that, so we'll just standard. Done that up, done that up, done that up, done that one up. I've made sure I've Loctited that one as well, because that doesn't have the split pin. Loctited that, those ones will be fine, and Loctited there. So yeah, just gonna get the rest of it going. I'll do all this up. I'm just gonna chuck on the alignment machine and get it pointing straight again and see how it goes. Alright, so we're just doing the alignment now. And now, because we've added the rack spacer in, it's a bit longer on that side, so we want to make sure we center the rack. So to do that, what we're going to do is we're going to grab our trusty ruler, and we're going to measure the travel on each side. So this side, obviously, the rack travels inside there and bottoms out on the inside there, and then to the outer side of the spacer. So that one at the moment is about 70 mil, and the other side was close to 80. So I'm going to get that centered up, I'll line it up, and then we'll chuck it up in the air and see how much lock we got, and we might play with these and might take them out and make them a little bit smaller. So yeah. Alright, so I've got it all aligned now. I've removed the lock stop up here just to see how far we can actually go. So it's just that pin that was up there. Now the issue is someone's put the bolts for these coilovers in backwards, so it's actually hitting on the bolt that holds the coilover in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip them around so the bolt is on this side and the nut's on this side, and then see how much further we can go, and then I'll make those, well, cut those lock stops down to suit where we need them at. So yeah. Alright, so what I've done is put the wheel at full lock. As you can see, that's hitting on there, so we don't want that smashing on there, or that's obviously going to damage that, and that's probably going to break. So what we're going to do is we're going to set that lock stop up here. So what I'm going to do, it's probably a bit hard for you to see on the camera, but just going to get the ruler in there, measure where that is there. That's at about 30 mil. So what I'll do is I'll make this here, I'll make that about, say, 33 mil. And then that way I'll have a couple of mil clearance here, so it'll hit the lock stop first before it hits on the control arm. So we'll get cutting on that, chuck that in and see how it goes. But as you can see, that's a fair bit more lock over stock, so looking good. Once it's all done, I'll show you from the top and you can see the difference from before. Alright, so the lock stop is back in, as you can kind of see there. So that's hitting on that now that I've cut it down. And we've got a little bit of clearance here, so the lock stop's going to be taking the load rather than down here. And that's got plenty of lock, so I'll get the other side done and test that out as well. So we've got it all done. Lock kit installed, rack spaces installed, all wheel aligned, and the lock stops modified to suit. So here's what we've got. Everything's clearancing okay. Take it for a test drive and see how it goes. But that's lock on the leading wheel there. And from the front. And then the trailing wheel as well. There. From the top. So yeah, be good to test that out the track, see how that goes. So you've got the alignment sheets here. So the first one, what I did was with the standard knuckles, made sure I measured it up. Don't take note of everything else. The main thing I measured it up for was the toe out and turns. So this side was 2.3 degrees and this side 2.1. And then because we've changed to the new knuckles, which are 0 Ackerman, this one now is only 0.5 and this one is -0.1, so basically 0. This one's a little bit off for some reason. I don't know if that's just because the way it's made, it's got a little bit of tolerance, but it's definitely better than what it was before. So it's a lot closer to 0 Ackerman than it was before. So yeah, not just the bolt-on knuckles is what gives you the more lock. Obviously, you can get more lock out of just doing the rack spaces and cutting down your lock stops as well. The main thing with the bolt-on knuckle kit is to get the Ackerman to 0. So basically, the easy way to explain Ackerman is it's the way your wheels point when you're turning. So if both are pointing the same way, that's 0 Ackerman. A normal car, the leading wheel will point more in that direction than the trailing wheel, because obviously a normal car is not drifting and one wheel needs to spin more than the other wheel. So without spending 20 minutes, 2 hours, however long, talking about Ackerman, that's the basics of it. So yeah, anyway, hopefully this car skids alright. We'll be testing it out hopefully this weekend. We've still got to install the dual caliper setup with the hydro, so yeah, stay tuned for that video, and hopefully you enjoyed this one. If you guys are going to do it to your car, at least you get to see how to do it, so it makes it a little bit easier. And yeah, thanks for watching. Chuck a like if you like it, comment if you want to know anything about it, and subscribe. Cheers.